everyone, welcome back to Beyond the Veil Tarot and Astrology. My name is Candace Marie. Thank you for joining me. It's Saturday night, so we're going to be doing live readings tonight. So thank you guys for joining me. Hopefully you're doing well. Do me a favor, and to increase interaction and traction with this video, give me a thumbs up if you guys don't mind. Also, sharing is caring, so if you can, I appreciate that. Make sure you are subscribed to my channel so that way you are on the up and up when I have new content coming out. We're putting videos out every couple days. Hopefully you guys are digging it. Those of you guys who are new to my channel, welcome. I'm a Western and evolutionary astrologer. I practice tarot and clairvoyant readings as well. We alternate every other Saturday between tarot and astrology. Last Saturday was crazy, y'all. It was like 3 hours of readings, astrology readings right before the eclipse. So definitely a lot of stuff was going down. That's still shaking out this week. We have a Sun Mercury Cazimi today, so really awesome day to get a reading and to get insight and messages that you may not have otherwise, received. So if you guys are interested in getting a reading, this is by donation only. So it's going to be $20 for one card, $40 for three. There's a QR code right next to me. So if you're watching on a television screen or if you're watching on your desktop, you can scan that. It's going to take you directly to my PayPal where you can make your donation. Donations are minimum $20 or $40, but if you enjoy watching or if you want to donate more or tip, it's always appreciated. All of your guys' donations make it possible for me to create content, add to my set, buy equipment, be able to study and do all the stuff that I've been doing. So if that's something you guys are into, please do consider donating. It's appreciated. And as always, we always take level 3 subscribers first. So if there's any level 3 people who are on my list who would like to get your reading, please let me know. Just want to give a big shout out and thank you to all the level 2 and 3 people like Emma, Emma, Ezekiel, Susan, Catherine, Paula, Deanna, Miss Fogel, Jackie, Angela, Hera, Nancy, Phoenix, Jessica, and Susan Wexler. You guys are the best. That list gets longer every week, so thank you guys for supporting the channel. What's up, Nancy? Hey, Chris. Hi, Connie. I got you. Miss Felix, what's going on? What's going on? So I appreciate your guys' patience. We've got about 4 people in the queue. So on deck, we have Kayla, Concha, I think that's Christiana, and Michelle. So you guys are definitely, we have received your donation. Please stay tuned. We're going to do the readings. The readings will be live, so you guys are going to be able to hear me talk about whatever people are asking, and then you're going to be able to see me actually pull the cards, and we'll have an overhead shot. Also, guys, when you make your donation in the PayPal memo, to keep us from having to scroll through, just let me know what your question is. Otherwise, I might kind of lose it in the chat. So if you haven't already done that, I'll come back to you and I'll ask you. What is going on, guys? Nancy, what's up? Let's do your reading. Okay, well, if you guys signed up, I appreciate it. We will get to you in the order that they were received. If you make a donation and your name differs on PayPal than the name that we have on YouTube, please let me know because sometimes there can be some confusion. So we'll start with Nancy, and then next we're going to have Kayla, Concha, Christiana, Michelle. No worries, I got you guys. All right, Nancy, we're going to be doing tarot tonight. Is that okay? Do you mind? Because we're pulling cards. Unless you want purely astrology, we can do that next week. Sun Virgo, Moon in Leo, Pisces rising. And this other person is a Sun in Aries, Moon in Scorpio, Leo rising. I'm happy to pull cards on it, and we can see. All right, so let me add you to my level 3 list. All right. So let's see what the cards have to say in terms of this compatibility. But off the bat, being a Sun in Virgo, Moon in Leo, Pisces rising, I think it's interesting that the Virgo Aries aspect creates inconjuncts. The Virgo meshes well with Scorpio. And then the Leo rising, you still have Leo. So there is some compatibility there, but you've got a couple inconjuncts. So let's see what the cards say about you and Mike. Find it interesting that as a Virgo rising, you got Jupiter going into your 8th, and you're asking about an Aries, right? because that's your 8th house. So 8th house relationships, the sun in the 8th house always brings up this theme of like transformation. Oh, very interesting. This is a bit of a sexy connection, Nancy. This is a sexy connection. I'm trying to look at these cards in the frame. Hopefully you can see that. There we go. So in order, we have the Devil, followed by the Ace of Cups, followed by the 6 of Cups. So I say it's a sexy connection because, to be honest with you, you know, the Devil can be a card that talks about feeling like there's a really deep attraction or something that really draws you in or something that is really binding. It can be kind of like intoxicating. So when the Devil comes up in like a love reading, it can be talking about something that is really hard to kind of break away from. Probably it's also that connection to the 8th house. You know, I don't know if you've dated in Aries before, but for anybody who's listening and wanting to learn also just more about like synastry and astrology, the 8th house is about depth and transformation and sexual stuff and psychological connections. So, you know, that 8th house coming in can be a little steamy. There can be some sense of temptation, or it can be something that's kind of saying like, oh, how close do I want to get because I could get hooked on this, right? It can also be talking about whether or not you're wanting to get back into some kind of sexual relationship, or whether or not you feel kind of like intimidated a little bit by the possibility of like, you know, really connecting with somebody that you feel like, oh, this could go one of two ways. It could be like really, really good, or this could get really ugly, right? So whenever the Devil comes up, I always like let people know, like, because this can be such an intoxicating connection, it can be really hard to kind of break. So just be mindful of that. Now, the other two cards, like I said, are really sweet. The Ace of Cups coming up can be talking for you specifically about new opportunities in love and relationships. You know, the cup runneth over, lots of passion, lots of emotions, lots of feelings. Aces are always new beginnings. So it's saying like there's a new chapter, you're being offered the gift possibly of being able to have a new relationship. The Ace of Cups is sweet. So it's interesting that that's kind of coming up after the Devil card, and it's kind of tapering that off a little bit. Jehovah's Witness that talks about sex. Yeah. Well, I mean, that could very much be the Devil, you know, it can be like the thing that perhaps maybe he's trying to resist the most is what he wants the most. It can also be talking about him kind of being attracted or kind of tempted by you, and that there is this sense of like things that can be taboo, right? The Devil can be very taboo. So it's like somebody who has like kinky encounters, or somebody who isn't really very sexual, exploring their sexuality and like other layers of their intimacy within the connection with you. But the Ace of Cups is kind of saying beneath all of that, there is some potential there. So it's not kind of saying it's limited purely to just a physical connection. There's some potential there. It's like the, you know, the saying that like women find, you know, find sex through love and men find love through sex, right? So it's kind of saying like it might start off as something that's very sexual, and it might start off as something that is very tempting, but it may evolve, right? Especially in the water months. So it can be in July, it can be in November, into what can be more of like a blissful relationship. As a Virgo rising, you're going to have Jupiter retrograde back, and it will dip back into your whole sign 7th house, and it'll be there at the end of this year, kind of reminding you that relationships can still bloom. Maybe it's been coming after a period of time of just Jupiter really kind of blowing out that 8th house and it being kind of very hyper sensual, and then it's like reflecting and asking yourself, okay, you know, what is it that I really want? Is there potential here for love? Can this grow beyond something more than just the physical connection? Now, the final card that you get is the 6 of Cups. So it's kind of like this feeling that's like, these cards kind of remind me of like the cookies in the cookie jar. You know, it's like you go and you get the cookie and you're like, I know I shouldn't have another one, but I'm going back, right? And the Ace of Cups is very sweet. The 6 of Cups is that returning to something. You keep going back to something. He keeps coming back around. You keep coming back around to the idea of connecting with him. There can be some sense of familiarity, right? And what's funny is this is a card that deals with like reminiscing and like being nostalgic. Some readers will call the 6 of Cups as the soulmate card. You know me, like the whole twin flame soulmate thing. Like, I'm going to be neutral on it. I'm not the kind of reader that's going to go on and on and on about that. But I do feel like looking at this, there's a sense of beyond, if you peel the layers back, beyond just talking about sex, there is like a really genuine connection here, and something that's actually kind of sweet and innocent, and something that is going to keep kind of bringing you guys back together. So maybe it starts off as like fireworks, but then it's like, okay, wait a second, there's something here. We keep coming back to each other. There's something familiar here. The Ace of Cups is like sometimes like a true love card. So that coming up with the Six of Cups makes me wonder, is there potential for you to bond with him beyond just the physical connection, right? There can be just the hot and steamy stuff and kind of hooking up, or there's like actually going into deeper levels of intimacy and like talking about relationships and like kind of realizing, you know, oh, there's something more here. It doesn't just have to be a physical thing, and really kind of getting a feel for that. It might be increments of 6, so 6 weeks, 6 months, the 6th month, especially like that June, July period when the sun goes into Cancer is when I think you're going to start to kind of see what's happening here, which makes perfect sense because you're going to have trines from your 11th house to your 7th. So I wonder what happens at that point in time. Are you merging your friend groups? Are you introducing them to other people in your life? Are you expanding beyond just the bedroom, right? Because that's what this seems to be about, that it may start off as something that's more physical, but it may actually evolve into something that's like, whoa, there's something very legitimate here. So I'm not going to give him a bad mark. I'm just going to tell you that there's more than what meets the eye with him. And even though there might be this fixation, I'm wondering if the fixation is with you, right? Is it because, you know, all this Capricorn energy is the fact that you're into mysticism, you're into occultism, you're into energy and all of these things that he's like, well, it's kind of weird, it's kind of witchy, but that turns me on. That's kind of the feeling that I'm getting, is that you might be partially what's taboo for him, right? Especially if he comes from like much more of like a religious background. So that may be what's like bringing him in, but it's very... And I talked about this on my Pluto-Venus square transit that's setting up over this next week. There is the possibility of like having these Beauty and the Beast situations where we're very attracted to something that's darker or taboo or something that's kind of no-no. And in that attraction, we can actually find that there's more than actually what meets the eye, right? And so I think that both of you guys can have the opportunity to see each other very differently and not be judging each other or assuming that you are a certain way just because of your belief systems or your background or your practices or just how you are in terms of your private life. So intimacy is very important, but it's all about emotions, right? Even the Devil is a feminine card. So it does kind of talk about the light very much liking the dark, right? And being intrigued by that. And a lot of that is because we have that polarity naturally, you know, in nature, right? We see black and white, we see yin and yang, we see masculine and feminine, night and day. So it doesn't have to be similar, it can be complementary. So there's something about this that's very complementary where you guys might have a lot more in common than you think. And that union that you are building physically is meant to be setting the stage for a deeper union emotionally. Let me know what happens. I'm interested to see what happens, but I think that could be the start of something really good, you know? And you know me, I'm not gonna candy coat things, so I'm always gonna tell you what's up. All right, blessed, we got you. Those of you guys who are joining, if you want to get a reading, please scan the QR code. You can make a donation. It is going to be $20 for one card, $40 for 3. And if you do make a donation, please let me know. And also something else you can do is you can join memberships. If you guys want to join a membership for the price of a little bit more than a 3-card reading, you can support the channel for a whole month. It's awesome. You're going to be on the first of the list, so you can get one astrology reading or one tarot reading every month, which is pretty cool. That way you can check in with me when you need it. What's up, Rachel? Hey, Emma, how's it going? If there aren't any other level 3 readers, please. Level 3 readers, you guys want to read my cards? If there aren't any other level 3 people, then I'm going to move on because, oh my goodness, we have a handful of people. What's up, Tallulah? Joining those memberships are the way to go, kids. All right, so I'm going to move to Kayla. Kayla, you said you have one card for a tarot reading. Please let me know your question. Kayla, let me know your question. I see Concha. I know that you asked. And Christiana. So Christiana, Concha, Kayla, Concha, you're the only one I saw that typed your question. So the other two, please send me your question. I'm going to go to Connie and then I'll come back to you guys. Connie says, my question is, I met this guy and we've been talking for almost 3 months and I'd like to know if he's playing games or serious. Will our relationship move up Or should I just walk away? Let's find out, girl. So this is for Concha, Connie. And then get back to me, Kayla, Christiana. Please let me know if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. I don't have my glasses on, so I apologize. All right, so this is for Connie in regards to this guy. What's going on? It's been 3 months. Is he playing games? Man, this card really wants to be seen. I don't know. I feel like this might be a clarifying card. We'll leave that one for the last. Connie, 10 of Wands reversed. Ace of Wands. 4 of Cups. You know, part of what I'm going to tell you, yes, Juliana, I see you. Michelle, Lena, Brandon, Juliana, Rachel, I got you guys. You know, the 10 of Wands coming up reversed makes me feel like there is a sense of freedom, like releasing and letting something go, not feeling like you need to corral the situation. It's like, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't, right? It's also about kind of lightening the load or giving somebody a little bit more rope. I know that sounds kind of weird, but it's like not hassling them or not feeling like you need to kind of hold on to them. Sometimes this card comes up when there's this feeling that's just like, I need to know because I can't deal with another crisis. I can't handle another breakup. I can't deal with another person that's just going to fall out of my life. So there's this sense of you already kind of getting a little weird and anticipating like, oh, you know, do I pull the rug out before he does? Because I can't deal with another disappointment, right? I say that because I'm looking at that 4 of Cups coming up, right? And it's about contemplation and realization and sometimes feeling unfulfilled and kind of being left in a situation where you're like, okay, well, what happened? You know, things may not have gone the way that I wanted them to go. In a way, the cards say, don't get your hopes up, and not because it's saying that he's not going to be legitimate, but it's saying that it's about you. This is about energy, right? Ace of Wands. So if you're going into the situation kind of already being a little like, iffy, I don't know if he's going to stay, I don't know if I can hold on to him, it's like reminding you like, hey, be mindful of the energy that you're putting into the situation, right? I also wonder with this Ace of Wands, like what either the charge is between the two of you guys. Like, do you feel like there's a spark? Do you feel like there's chemistry? Do you feel like it was there, but like now it's dwindling? Because, you know, 10 of Wands reverse, Ace of Wands, 4 of Cups is like this sense of you looking at something and going like, okay, I don't understand. Like, why are we losing momentum? Like, why is there steam that's kind of slowing down? I'm wondering also if this is just a situation where there's too much emphasis on the relationship or there's too much emphasis on being like, okay, is it gonna be this? Because it seems to need more time. Ace of Wands can be about bringing the excitement back, kind of getting things moving and shaking again, feeling like you guys are actually actively going and doing things, focusing more on intimacy, focusing on sex, and also just having fun. Yeah, it was there and it's fading. You can try, right? The Ace of Wands is almost like, in a way, taking a match and striking it and trying to kind of do something different. The Ace of Wands is about getting out of your usual routine. I'm wondering if this is like you know, reaching out to him and being like, let's go to a dance class. Let's go to an amusement park. Let's go to a party. It's like doing something that's totally out of the blue, super fun, super sudden, very quick moving, and trying to see if you can kind of relight the flame before you walk away. But I think that with, you know, this has nothing to do with you. That's what's interesting. It has nothing to do with like him not being interested. It's more like I'm looking at this going, you're losing the momentum. You're losing the belief in the actual connection in the relationship. But there's some hesitancy that you're having with the burdens of feeling like you're getting stuck in an unfair, uneven, or a relationship that's not as receptive again. And there's also the 4 of Cups that kind of feels like, you know, you're looking at situation kind of going like, well, what's the point, right? The card's really saying don't give up hope, that there's still kind of like a flame there, although it may seem like it's dimmer than usual. The Ace of Wands generally, like timing-wise for me, is usually about a month, okay? And then the 4 of Cups can be 4 weeks. So it can be saying, like, you can really try to kind of shake things up, do something different for the better part of the next month, see if that creates a shift. But at the end of the day, you know, the Four of Cups reversed is like this feeling that's like, it doesn't matter what I do. He doesn't acknowledge me. He's not doing anything. He's not reaching out to me. And you want to be really careful with this card, because when this card's coming up, you can have a tendency to kind of like get a little bit stuck in a funk, right? There can be like a sense of like depression, or there can be this feeling of like, you know, like I said, no matter what I do, nothing's good enough, and you can't quite see what's in front of you. And if you're afraid of getting hurt, I see what you're saying. Part of what I see is that it's an energy thing. It's like you're all in or you're all out. You know what I'm saying? Are you all in or are you all out? Because for the amount of energy that you're putting into this, going like, what if it doesn't work? I kind of feel like that's working against you, right? What if it does work? What if what you really need is to just let go of any preconceived notions that something is wrong, and call this person up and be like, hey, what's up? Let's go and have some fun. Like, let's try to do some stuff together and kind of get that momentum going again. Now, like I said, this card was kind of popping out at me. Six of Pentacles, giving and receiving, getting what you give. Are you retreating a little bit because you're like, what's going on? He's not interested. So if he's not calling me, I'm not calling him, right? Are you playing that game? Is there a sense of you kind of looking at it going like, well, if he's not trying, I'm not trying, you know? And questioning whether or not he's all in. I mean, you may be surprised how big of a shift you see if you're actually reaching out, contacting him, saying, hey, I miss you, I want to see you, let's do something, planning a date. Like, it might totally turn things around, because with the Six of Pentacles, it's like when you initiate something, you put something out there, somebody's going to match you. So there's an energy match going on right now, right? Don't play those games, Connie. Don't play those games. Find a way to reach out. And this is like a physical thing. This is like, hey, you know, I want to make you dinner. Come over and I'll make you dinner and give you a massage. Or, hey, I'm going to pack a picnic. Let's go out and hang out, you know, and go and do something together. Or showing up at his work and bringing him lunch and having lunch with him, or taking him out. Something like that. There's a physical exchange. And then it might just be like that action that you take that really kind of makes him realize like, okay, no, she's cool, so I'm cool. Guys are weird, you know? Sometimes they'll kind of feed off of how we're acting, and he may be feeling like he doesn't want to rock the boat when he realizes that you're actually good and that there's nothing wrong, that whatever the kind of blip that's been going on energetically, it's over, that you guys can still have fun, that you're still checked in. I would recommend doing this, because you might actually find that that's enough to just kind of shock this thing back into life, especially over the next month. We're in a Mercury retrograde. So, you know, there's mixed wires. People don't communicate efficiently. There can be a sense of overthinking things. I'm really loving this retrograde because it's going to retrograde back into Taurus. So we're going to be able to kind of plan things different, structure things different, really walk the walk, talk the talk. And it's going to trine Pluto. So there can be opportunities for healing, deep conversations, restructuring things. I would say give it a shot, because to me it feels like a lot can change over the next month, especially if you make the decision to shift the energy. Don't withdraw, right? Hopefully that's helpful for you, Connie. Okay, so for Kayla, Anya, thank you for letting me know. Where's Kayla? There she is. Hi, love. I've had a rough past with relationships and personal connections. I would like to know how to deal with this issue now and also in the future. All right, Kayla, let's take a look. Issues with past relationship issues. Gemini rising, Cap Sun. He's a Virgo. So this is a retrograde that's really affecting you if you are Gemini rising, with that retrograde and your first, all the aspects, you know, making aspects to your natal sun. Whole sign is in the 6th. I don't know if it's in the 5th or not, but really powerful time for you to restructure how you're thinking about matters of the heart and organization and your daily routine and finding healthier relationships in general. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong person. Excuse me. That's Chris. Never mind, that's Chris. Okay, so for Kayla, who said, I've had a rough past with relationships and personal connections. You want to know how to deal with the issue in the future? We have the Queen of Coins. Well, Kayla, what's your sun, moon, and rising? You have any earth in your chart? It's interesting to me because the Queen of Coins is like, how do you... She's not really somebody who needs support, right? The Queen of Coins is like, of all of the queens, she's top tier, right? She is the most mature, the most stable. She's about her health, her money, her resources, her business, her stability. So to some extent, the Queen of Pentacles doesn't really need anything. She needs herself. She doesn't need somebody else's support. She doesn't need somebody else's money. She'll appreciate it, but she doesn't need it. Notice that she's also sitting on the crown and she's holding on to her coin. And she's like, nope, I'm solid, I'm good. Whether that's her power, whether that's like her shield, whether that's representing her feeling complete within herself. I think it's really interesting, depending on what you got in your horoscope, if you have any prominent Earth placement, like Sun, Moon, or Rising, or even a Venus or anything like that, this is saying you need you, right? The card literally says like nurturing, practical, generous, welcoming, right? Sensible, luxurious, curious, focus on the home, good business, working, right? So it's not saying like, oh, you don't need to worry about, you know, your relationships just work. That's not what I'm saying. It's realizing that you are solid, right? So that solidness comes from you. If you've had issues in relationships in the past and you know that this is a pattern, okay, whether this is something you've been working through or this has been like a lifelong thing, then you're in a situation right now where I think you're looking around realizing like, if I'm solid and if a breakup or a fuckboy or a situation where somebody's not being honest with me or some kind of instability that's coming from a partner, if I get to a point where I'm so solid that that stuff's not going to rock me, that my life is going to be complete with or without a relationship, because I know I have my stability, I'm grounded, I know I have my health, I have my money right, I have these things, that it really shouldn't affect you as much if somebody kind of acts up or comes or goes. It's also about self-esteem, right? I think of like Taurus energy in the second house and like knowing your worth. Getting to a point where you've worked so hard on yourself and you've invested so much time, energy, money, resources on you that if somebody starts acting up, you're like, no, you're not cute enough to be acting like this. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of how the Queen of Coins acts. There could be this sense of her being like, there isn't anything that you can give me that I can't give myself. And it's not saying that you don't need another person, but it's also this realization that's just kind of like, what do you bring to the table? You need to bring something to the table other than something that's going to have dollar signs. You need to bring value to my life. You need to enrich my life, right? How are you going to help build my life up? How are you going to show me security? If you can match that energy, great, awesome, right? Okay, so you're a Taurus, cool. So this should make sense to you, right? The North Node's in Taurus right now. The eclipses are in Taurus right now. A lot of Tauruses are having to make some difficult decisions and cut other people off with the South Node in Scorpio because they have to focus on their security, their stability, what feels good to them, what's nurturing to them. And some people are going to look at it and they're going to go like, your standards are too high, or, you know, you are too picky, or you're being selfish. And it can look like that from the outside. From the inside, it's more like you going like, no, I just have kind of realized that like, this isn't working for me anymore. So if they're not bringing some value to your life, and it's not just about money, then you're going to realize, okay, then I can't be letting somebody kind of jerk me around and mess my stability up because of the way that they're acting, right? The interesting thing is we just had this new moon in Taurus. So it's going to take about 6 months for this to really unfold, right? We're going to see sometime in the fall when we have the full moon that's going to be happening in Taurus. That'll be a lunar eclipse in Taurus. I've looked at it, you know, it's opposed Venus, it's conjunct Uranus. I think a lot of Tauruses are going to suddenly have big value changes. But for the most part, I feel optimistic that if you're doing this work now, it can really set the stage for you being more so relationship ready because you've been focusing so much on like building yourself back up, you know? So in many ways, I would say focus on reevaluating your worth, and then you're going to realize that you can't negotiate. I've been telling people all month long, it's been like high standards, low expectations. When we have those high standards, people either need to meet them or exceed them. And if our expectations are low, we're not going to lose our shit when people can't reach those expectations. We're going to be like, no harm, no foul, have a good life. And you can't let it rock you, right? Taurus is so solid. So practice grounding exercises, put your feet in the grass, right? Do some yoga, work with the earth, garden, cook, whatever you got to do that's going to really help ground that energy and make you realize that you have to be the rock, right? Nothing can kind of move you. Otherwise, you are solid though. So there's a lot of this stuff that you're building physically right now And it can be actual strength, right? It can be saving money, it can be working, but it's also reminding you like, yes, these are all the things that are kind of adding to my value. So anybody who comes in, they need to be on my level, right? Hopefully that's helpful. All right, so now we have Chris. All right, so Chris wants a card. She says, I think my husband cheated on me and his family is involved in our life. Am I overreacting and would I regret it if I get a divorce? I'm a Capricorn sun, Gemini rising. So going back to what I was saying, Capricorn sun, listen, you've had Venus retrograde earlier this year in your sign. And you're also coming out of several years where there's been eclipses in your 7th house. So I have a feeling this isn't the first wave of issues that you've been having in your relationship, right? It's probably been a little tumultuous for the last 2 years. Then you fast forward to the end of 2021. We had Venus retrograde setting up the beginning of this year. It was definitely for a lot of Capricorn suns needing to kind of focus more on themselves and like restructuring something and like becoming aware of something that was painful that they needed to heal. Being that you're a Gemini rising, your chart ruler Mercury is going retrograde basically over your ascendant and back into your 12th house, which means that you're going back and forth debating whether or not you'll have a conversation with someone, right? And you don't know if you want to have this conversation or not because you're thinking about it. And you want to use this retrograde period to really strategize and think about, you know, how you would go about talking about it, how you would approach that. Do you have the facts, right? Do you have everything straight before you confront somebody and say some of the stuff that you're saying, right? Because you're telling me you think he cheated. I'm just going to say this, and I have a lot of faith in tarot, but I would never, ever pull a single tarot card for anybody and be like, yes, get divorced or don't get divorced, right? I wouldn't give my power away like that. That's just food for thought. But knowing what I know, it does benefit you to really sit and think this through before you start a shitstorm with Mercury going retrograde on your ascendant. And knowing his astrology, just thinking about this because I'm visual, give me a second. You said that, wait, where is it? Here we go. His placement is a Virgo. For Virgo, just based off the ascendant, I don't know his ascendant, but Virgo, we've had Mars and Neptune hanging out in their 7th house, which can basically be talking about them going through some kind of painful experience or taking space or distancing themselves, you know? I'm going to tell you there's going to be bigger issues in his relationships, I think, later in the year. Because for Virgo rising, you're going to have Mars going retrograde, which rules the other person's money in his 10th. And how there's some change and transformation of joint resources and his title. Now this will square his sun. It will also square his 7th house to his sun. So if something's going on and it's brewing now, I could see the possibility of like needing to separate things and resources with a person later this year. But that's very speculative. And a lot of it's going to depend specifically on your chart. So with that being said, let's see what the cards say. She's asking, if she were to leave him, especially if she believes that he's been cheating, would she regret it if you got a divorce? I always get so curious when people ask me these questions and then I pull the death card. Because part of me kind of feels like, to some extent, there's a sense of already knowing the answer, right? You already know the answer. I want you to really think about this, because the death card doesn't always mean physical death, right? The death card means, is there a necessary change that needs to come about, right? It's a symbolic death. It's a rebirth, big changes, transformations, dealing with big hurt, issues relating to infidelity, secrets, things like that. Here's a question. You're married to him. You have kids with him. Have you flat out asked him if he's cheating on you? Have you? Just curious. Because, you know, I'm going to tell you something. The second card that I pulled for you is the 10 of Cups. Such contradicting cards, right? The death card is like having to let something go and dealing with like a painful situation and a transformation and this inner knowing that something has to change. And then you ask, am I going to regret it? And you're thinking about your kids, but the card that comes up is happiness, divine love, balance, bliss, and domestic fulfillment, joy, everything kind of coming full circle. What if it's more detrimental to possibly stay in a relationship where you're assuming somebody's cheating and allow that to kind of just like fester and affect the family? What if this person is being unfaithful? Because there's a possibility with that death card, I'm not going to lie. If this person is being unfaithful and you call a spade and you're like, okay, you know what? I want out of this because this doesn't feel good and I don't feel like you're being faithful and I don't feel solid. But that pulling of the trigger, right? The death card is like having to end something, is a brand new initiation for you and your family to find happiness and possibly even a better relationship. 10 of Cups, right? I mean, most men are going to tell you they're not, but okay. You know, I kind of feel like if you're going to do it, at least be honest about it. But if you have anything incriminating, the proof is in the pudding. If you already kind of have some kind of proof that he's running around and he's doing things or saying things, but he's not being honest about it with you, then it's up to you. Do you stay because you want to have the happy family and keep the family together? The truth is that it's saying that a transformation is necessary for this to happen. There needs to be a death and a rebirth, which means maybe there does need to be this reckoning where you sit down and go, I'm going to confront you. I'm going to confront him, you know, or I'm going to get a therapist involved. The death card can actually be like bringing like a mediator or somebody else in who can hold space as you kind of say what you have to say. And I get it, being married, having kids, dealing with this, his family's involved, finances are involved, I understand. But in order for there to be a happy family, there needs to be a confronting of the darker situations. And whether that's like a total Beyonce situation where you need to just like shake him to his core and be like, I'm going to leave you and I'm going to take the kids unless you come clean and we're going to go to therapy and we're going to work this out and you're going to get your shit together. Or it ends up manifesting as you being like, this is really painful, but I know that I deserve happiness and a happy family. He can't give it to me, so I got to go, right? In the end, though, what's interesting is that the cards do seem to insinuate there is a happy ending. Is the happy ending because you decide to confront him? I think it's worth it. I think if you're married to somebody, and I think if you have kids with somebody, and if you have all of these intertwined things, because the death card is like, oh my God, it's going to be such a nightmare getting out of this connection, right? Because of money, potential, you know, insurance stuff, things that people are paying for, his family being involved, it being like this whole scandal. But the truth is that the death card and the 10 of Cups is saying in order for there to be happiness and light, we need to confront the dark. So it all has to come up. And if you have proof and you're confronting him and he's not being honest with you, you have to ask yourself if you can actually have a happy family staying in a relationship with somebody knowing that that's happening. I would still confront him. You know, I would talk about it. And I would say that Jupiter going into your, for Virgo, Jupiter going into the second house, excuse me, the 8th house, which is really representing your second house, you may have an increase in income in this next year. There may be a lot happening for you financially. And I don't know if this is because he would potentially have to pay spousal support or child support, or he have to pay taxes or something like that. But you stand to possibly be on the hook for helping take care of him if you drag it out for too long, right? So just be mindful of that. You might even end up making more money with Jupiter going into his 8th. I did confront him. He says it was friendly and he misunderstood because of language barriers. Cool. So tell him you want her phone number and you want to talk to her. That one always goes over very well. That's my solution. Whenever I have clients that are like, okay, my husband's cheating and I read the messages and this and that and it said I'm being dramatic. I feel like culturally right now we're kind of in a situation where it really, I don't understand this whole like people fighting over like people's spouses and going back and forth. Like, I know shit happens. I'm not judging, but like the reality of the situation is that we want to kind of befriend these women because everybody knows a scorned woman is going to tell the truth, right? Always, hands down, 100%. I don't know about you guys, but I've been in that situation. You know, somebody calls me like, are you hanging out with my boyfriend? I'm like, girl, let's get a drink. Let's talk about it. You know, because women need to support women. I'm not saying to instigate drama, but to just cut to the core of the bullshit and basically be like, hey, just so you know, this is your boyfriend or your husband. He's running around town. I mean, if he really is saying that it's nothing, then point blank, really all you have to do is just say, cool, let me talk to her. That's it. And if he gets squirrely, there's your answer. Yeah, he gets paid cash. I would definitely be having to pay. So hear me out on this. With Jupiter going into his 8th and with Mars going there too, you do not want to be in a situation where you're on the hook for taking care of his ass. So if it does end up being a situation where you're going to get further entangled, it's probably better to kind of have that conversation sooner rather than later, because down the line in this next year, like, he may end up benefiting from you in some way, you know? Thank you, Juliana. That's so helpful for you to offer her that. And also, like I said, like, you know, the live readings are a really great way to get an idea of what readings are like in that private space that we have together. I always would like to look at somebody's chart and really look at it and kind of go, this is the timing of what you're going through. We can look at the partner's chart and be like, okay, is it or is it not happening? I think for the death card to be coming up, there's definitely some unsavory things that are happening. And there's the need to confront that. So I would start there first, okay? Hopefully, let us know. Come back. Let us know what happens. We want to hear how this pans out. Sending you lots of good vibes. Hey, Kayla. Hopefully you're doing well. All right, so we've got Michelle. What's up, Michelle? Are you here? Lena, are you here too? I don't have a question from you. Juliana, I see you there. You're in the queue. Rachel, what's up? So Michelle and Lena, I need to know what your guys' questions are. Otherwise, I'll just do a general reading. Thanks, Chris. Good luck, girl. Don't take any shit. Michelle, my dear, are you getting your ass kicked with this Mercury retrograde? Where are all my Gemini risings at? Are you guys okay? You guys breathing? Oh. All right, Juliana, I got you. So Michelle, Lena, Brandon, Juliana about work, and Rachel. Rachel, you gonna ask me about Pajama Guy? Let me see, Kayla. Let me refresh my PayPal because there might be more. I didn't put my Q. Is wondering about this new-ish Aquarius man. What's going on with him? All right, let's look. I like an Aquarius for you. That's your moon. Kayla, I see you, girl. Thank you. You're in the queue. All right, so let's see what's going on with this new Aquarius man. The card that I get is the Four of Pentacles. Gemini rising. What's up, Deanna? Four of Pentacles. Do you feel like possibly there's a lot of potential here, but it's going slow, right? It might almost feel as if there's like a real need to kind of like get to know him. It's taking time. You know, there's a sense of having to kind of break him open. There can be a sense of security, safety. I mean, this card is not a bad card when it comes to getting to know somebody. It just might kind of feel like they're a tough or a difficult cookie to crack. Getting to know them, seeing their inner workings, things like that. But it can also be talking about like long-term security. So you might notice about this guy is that he's like very mature, or there is this sense of being more serious or being kind of like, you know, focused on long-term stuff, or he moves slowly, he takes a little bit of time to open up. But I do think it's something that's like solid, you know, not an Aquarius man, definitely. An Aquarius moon won't mind though, right? Especially if you got that Gemini rising. But I think what I like about this, because you have all that Capricorn in your chart, is it's second to your sun. So it can be like something where you look at it and you go, wow, like I really value this person. I don't want to just like pass them up. I want to hold on to them. I want to see what's going on here. Yes, he's hard to read. I have no idea what he's thinking and definitely very slow. Yeah, well, welcome to the land of Aquarius men. I don't talk shit about signs, but oh my gosh, maybe it's because I'm a Scorpio. I feel like Aquarius men are like, it's like a dead fish, you know? You gotta like shake them to get anything out of them. But you have Aquarius in your chart. You have Gemini in your chart, right? And I think the Mercury retrograde right now that's playing with your ascendant is kind of this whole like, what's going on? Like, am we speaking the same language? Are we going to be able to kind of communicate? Is he going to get back to me? This is more pensive energy. So I feel like he's feeling you out just as much as you're feeling him out. I wouldn't give up on him because I don't think it's going to be something that you can't crack. And the second card that I pull is the Nine of Cups. So that's actually really positive. Perhaps maybe part of what's happening also is there's this need to like really think things through. Like he might be in a process of being like, I'm focused on work, making money, growing my career, stuff that's going on with my goals. And then you come in and he's like, wait a second, I thought I had it all figured out. This was the process. You have to understand they're a fixed sign, right? Unlike Capricorn, where Capricorn is just like, go, go, go. Aquarius is like, okay, I've already started this. Like, how do I segue? How do I make the shift? Okay, so it's not just me. I know you guys have lots of fixed placements in your charts, though. Angeli's got some Pisces, but yeah. You know, I would just say hold tight. Give him a little bit more time. Might need to warm him up a little bit. Literally, Four of Coins can be a little cold. So it's like initiating, you know, physical touch, trying to be a little bit more touchy-feely so he kind of lets his guard down, but give him a little bit more time because he does seem like something that is solid. You know, this isn't a bad card. It's somebody that you're unwilling to pass up. So obviously he struck your fancy in some way. But, you know, they can be kind of detached. They can be kind of cold. To me, it seems like he was on the straight and narrow path of trying to focus on something, and then you came into his life and he's like trying to be like, well, how do I make time for both, right? So he's thinking about it. Hopefully that's helpful. Okay, so Lena, is that you, Blessed? Let's see. Because I'm not sure if that's you. Let me know. Lena? And then Brandon, you're on deck next. He wants General. Juliana. Guys, if you can put your name, your YouTube name in the memo, it's going to make it a lot easier to go through these so you guys aren't going to have to wait. I see 2 for Lena, actually. Okay, question 2. Okay. All right, so Lena, let's get your question. So your question is, I'm a Sun Gemini, Moon in Libra, Aquarius rising, Holy Air Trine. Will I find a new relationship in 2022? Let's see what's up. Thanks, Lynn. So, Juliana, you want to let me know your question since you're on deck? Let's see what's up, what's going on with Lena and finding a new relationship. Aquarius rising, Saturn on your ascendant, and Mercury going retrograde right now through your 7th, and, excuse me, through your 5th, and aspects to your 7th. Just a heads up, Blessed, you know, the retrogrades this year are really going to affect you. And I'm not saying that in a negative way, but they're really going to affect you. Like there's going to be a sense every time there's a retrograde to restructure because it's in air, so it's about communication and ideas, and it's going to try in your personal placement. So these are really awesome working periods for you, right? In general. So we've got 4 of Wands reversed, the Justice reversed, the 3 of Cups reversed. What's the deal? What's going on here? 4 of Wands reversed, Justice reversed, 3 of Cups. Are you still healing from a breakup or a separation or a divorce? Let me know. 4 of Wands sometimes is like a marriage card. Like that can be a card that's talking about, you know, leaving home, lack of roots, lack of support, instability, you know, feeling unwelcome, like some kind of moving through some kind of separation emotionally from someone or possibly even like a physical space. And Justice reversed is coming up. So it's talking about like dealing with issues in the past where there's been dishonesty and lack of communication and lack of reliability and feeling very imbalanced because of something that's been going on. And then we've got the 3 of Cups, which is coming up reversed. right? Which can be talking about independence, but third party situations, right? Like another person that got involved. So lack of trust has kind of come up in the past. That's hanging around. Healing from a long-term relationship. You're still in the healing process right now. I've talked to a lot of Aquarius rising. Saturn on your ascendant for a lot of you guys is going to keep reiterating over and over and over, you must be really good with your boundaries. You can't lower your standards. You have to really focus on you, taking care of your body, right? And it might feel very alienating right now, but with the trines to your placements in Gemini, with the trines to your placements in Libra, it's like the best is kind of yet to come. I kind of feel like there's a lot turning over for you, especially in September and October. And what's really unusual here is that it is saying that there is a need to detach from this whole, okay, but is he happier than me? Like, why did he get somebody before I did? Why did he meet somebody before I did? Why is he happy? Why don't I get to be happy? Like, we gotta banish that out, because the longer that you stay in that, there is definitely going to be something that is going to hinder you and block you from being able to move forward. He left you for a third party. I mean, the cards are literal right now. Really what it's saying is that if you're fixated on that, you're not really allowing yourself to fully move into like the next connection, right? The next relationship. And that you don't need to worry about karma, people getting theirs, whether or not they're happy, is it gonna work out? Like, you wanna rid yourself of all of that stuff. Number one, it's not healthy. But number two, it's saying that karma is gonna do its thing. Whether it's, you know, a week from now or a year from now, that's going to sort itself out. You don't need to feel as if it's not fair that he found somebody before you did, or that he found somebody that was different than you or younger than you or this or that. Don't worry about that. Because what's coming up is that their heart is kind of broken because somebody else came in and disrupted a union or disrupted a marriage. And that it's really kind of made you now, in a way, untrusting of other people, or feeling unworthy of love, or not feeling good enough. So it's sending this vibration of like, oh my God, you know, I can't get over this. He's happy, I'm not. You know, why believe in love? Everybody's gonna leave me. Something gonna work again. Can I just find somebody else? If I find somebody else, I can just move on, right? And so what I'm saying is we want to kind of scale back a little bit, because just finding somebody just to move on with, it may still in a way make you feel like you're in a third party relationship, that you're with somebody physically, but your mind is on your ex-husband, right? Or your ex, whoever this is. And that he's still living like rent free in your head, creating issues. So it's still that issue of having a third person intertwined. It's almost like the chains are going to be broken and you're going to be able to move forward, and you're going to feel clear of this when you finally look at this and go, fuck it, she can have him. You know, I hate to be like that, but being somebody who talks to people for a living about their relationship problems, and I mean, like, going on like easily 9 years now, I have seen time and time again with these clients that either are the ones that run off and they go and they do this, that doesn't always pan out, their problems still follow them because they didn't deal with it, or the clients that have their heart shattered because their significant other leaves them for another person. It's always somewhere down the line that they come back and they're like, oh my God, you're never gonna believe who came back, and they apologize and they're so sorry. And I'm like, let me guess, their relationship didn't work. And it's always when you move on, like when you really move on, when you're like, I don't hate them, I don't love them, I don't give a shit. That's where you wanna be. That's that magical place of just, you know, being neutral and being detached. When you get there, likely that's when that stuff kind of sorts itself out. But my concern is rushing into another relationship and just trying to find somebody else because you're like, well, he found somebody else. Or if I just find somebody, I'll move on. The problem is still here. I'm not saying it's the same as what he did, but he went off to another relationship with those problems. Those problems are going to follow him. And it's also saying, karmically speaking, once a cheater, always a cheater. Justice reverse, 3 of Cups. It's like, do you really want to be with somebody who's going to be doing that to you? Probably not. So in a way, the universe did you a favor. You don't see that yet. Also, you can't see this in the cards because it's further away. But the 4 of Wands is the 1111 card, right? And I noticed that you have 1111 on your screen name. 1111 being about, you know, soulmates, master numbers, leveling up, like being this this number that's associated with soul activation and divine partnership, right? So if anything, I want you to think about it like this. It's like, yeah, okay, you know, what the you know, body and the heart is crying over, your soul is rejoicing. You have to really let your soul rejoice over the fact that he's gone. Because when you do that, you're going to be able to move on to the next thing. And you're going to have a true divine union. Yeah. Yeah, girl. I mean, I'm telling you right now, it's like, it's a good thing to let that go. I know it's difficult, but I'm going to tell you, you're going to look back and you're going to be like, it's the best thing that could have happened. If anything, we want to send good energy to her and be like, I feel for her. You know, she may or may not have known what was going on. We don't know. But the fact is that now she's going to deal with this, because the cards are saying now it's going on to another person. It's going to affect another person, right? But at least you got out of it. So there is going to be a cause and effect. There is something that's going on that's cause and effect, right? In terms of relationships and like the balance and the things like that. Do not allow yourself to just move into another relationship because you don't want to be alone. He's still going to hover around. Let him go. If you can do that, you've got a divine partnership coming in. Okay, and it's like soul family. It's a marriage card. This is also talking about true love, alignment, right? Celebrations, gatherings, things like that. Maybe it's about celebrating that it's over. You know? Sending you lots of love. Blessed. I know you have another question. I see that. So the other question, where is it? Yeah. I just sold my townhouse. Which house prices, with house prices currently so high, should I rent until those prices come down, or should I buy another property? I don't think you need cards to tell you this is definitely not the time to buy, but we can look. Congrats on selling your townhouse and getting out at the top of the market. Kudos to you. Okay, so should she rent until prices come down, or should you buy another property? Two of Cups is saying yes, renting, because that's about working with another person, or there being an exchange with another person. It wouldn't be very long, like it might be 2 years maybe, you know. To me it looks like if you're going to do this, you're going to have to make the move rather quickly, not because you just sold, but because you have to do something with the money. This is like, I put it into something, or I literally, you know, need to give it to somebody else. And it does seem like the energy revolving around this is interesting. Perhaps maybe the reason why it's saying like give it to somebody else and possibly consider the idea of renting is because this is a card that talks about relationships. This is a relationship card, right? This is about love and partnership and somebody coming in and like support or something. So part of me feels inclined to tell you too, you don't know what may happen like in this next year or so. So if you are in a position where you can go and you can rent affordably and you can just wait until you can buy something else, definitely wait. Shouldn't be longer than probably about 2 years, but I also get the feeling that there's somebody else involved in this, and by the time you're ready to be making another purchase or investment, there might be somebody who does it with you. And somebody's really going to benefit, right, from you renting from them, or like they'll really appreciate you renting from them or taking care of their space, or because of where you go, you might actually meet somebody new. So I don't think that this is about a purchase yet. Hopefully that's helpful. Okay, so we've got Brandon, Juliana, Rachel, Angeli, Kayla. I also see Wendy. Wendy, I did not forget about you. So let me take Wendy and then we'll go back to the PayPal. What's up with my love life to come? Is there anything, or am I working money this year? Thanks, Wendy. Yeah, you got that Gemini rising too. You guys gotta just breathe. Breathe. And pray to Sky Daddy Mercury. Let's see. So what's up? What's going on? Is it just work? Is there love stuff? What's happening for Wendy? I love that Cancer Sun, Cap Moon. Boss lady energy. Oh my goodness. I mean, there is a lot of stuff going on here, Wendy. 2 of Swords reversed, 7 of Cups reversed, 8 of Swords. It's like you're basically saying, I'm taking off the blindfold. I'm no longer going to put myself in situations where I let other people lead me on any longer. I'm not willing to put myself in a situation where people are going to be leading me down the rabbit hole or feeding me false promises. I'm going to be more decisive now. I'm going to be more cautious with the decisions that I make in general, you know? I think the Two of Swords reverse can also be talking about like being in a situation where it's time to make a move. And it doesn't necessarily mean making a move into a relationship. It can be basically like making a move and making a decision about where you've been and no longer going back there, or just, you know, kind of like cutting things off, right? Because Two of Swords, when it's upright, it's like, I don't know, what do I do? When it's reversed, it's like, no, we're going to cut something. So you're in like the cutting phase right now. There's a sense of like cutting off all the dead limbs and other things that have been kind of tying you down. Maybe you have felt like energetically there's been a lot of ties to other people. Then you have the Seven of Cups reversed, which is talking about alignment, not being distracted, clarity, illusions ending, like really getting clear and feeling restored. And it's because you're making definitive decisions. Not easy for Gemini risings right now, because you guys always have that sense of, it could be this or it could be that, right? I could do this, I could do that. This is always open. That second option is there. I've got something on the back burner. And now you're like realizing like, actually, by doing that, am I limiting my options because I am not fairly distributing my energy? Am I holding myself back from new potentials and other things? So it's like you're kind of taking a leap of faith here pretty soon, you know, especially with the retrograde happening. You're having to tune inward, pay attention to your dreams, guys. Gemini risings, pay attention to your dreams. Mercury going retrograde into your 12th house. Uranus is there. The sun is there. It means that your guides, your higher self, your subconscious, in your sleep, in your meditations, in your hypnotherapy, whatever, you're going to see very clear, logical, practical advice, moves that you need to be making with your money, with your security, where you're going to be going, literally telling you, here's the decision, make it. It's very simple, Taurus. So I think for you, it's like saying like your dreams are helping you gain clarity if you're feeling kind of mixed up and you're like not sure where you're going, or you're not sure which direction, so that way you can make a choice. Then comes the Eight of Swords, which is talking about self-imposed limitations. Like the fact that these limitations aren't physical limitations, they're mental fears, it's mental chatter and other things that are kind of holding you back. Maybe there's a sense of you saying, it's not my fault, the relationship stuff hasn't happened, it's their fault. You know, they've left me hanging, they haven't given me clarity, they didn't give me an answer, I've been waiting to hear back from them, they told me this and then they did that, so now I'm left kind of hanging. But the Eight of Swords is saying it's a time to no longer make excuses or feel limited purely by ideas or communication. It's like literally clearing the table, going like, you know, no more excuses. They've said what they've said. They've continued to drag their feet, not be clear with me. I can't blame them anymore. I have to get in the driver's seat. So it's not about whether or not they're giving me clarity. I'm giving myself clarity. So you're breaking out of this pattern, right? And there can also be this realization that you, with your thoughts and your limitations mentally revolving around what you are capable of, has been like these, it's almost like keeps you kind of like enclosed in like a cell, right? That's what the Eight of Swords is. You see all these swords around her. But her hands aren't tied, her eyes are just blindfolded. So it's about exercises with clarity and vision. So there can be this sense of like you really benefiting from, you know, really getting clear. Create a vision board is something that I would say for you right now. And find ways to put words and pictures and all kinds of things on that vision board, or create one that's going to be on a desktop computer, on a laptop, maybe on your phone. So every day, because I know your Gemini risings, you guys are always on your phone. You're looking at your phone. I want you to see something that's going to remind you of like what you are bringing in, you know, pick the things that you're manifesting the most. These are not relationship cards. You're asking about relationships. This is also not work either. These are cards about just getting clear about what you want in general, you know? Yep, letting go of the romantic ties, but that doesn't mean you have to be alone. I want to really reiterate that. It's that you're no longer going to be building fantasy land based off of what other people are telling you they're going to do, because they're not showing up, or it's false promises, or they're late, or they're behind, or it's not 100%, right? So there is a sense of you really needing to kind of go, you know what? I can't be building all of these plans off of somebody who's not reliable. I'm going to build my own plans. Right? And I know where I'm going, and then you're going to start to see it manifest. Very strong period of manifestation for you guys, especially once you start to see that Mercury is then trining Pluto, right? Which is in your 6th house of routine. Getting on a routine is very, very, very important. But you can turn this around. And like I said, this isn't about relationships or work. It's about you feeling solid. And when you do that, you'll be able to manifest that. Hopefully that's helpful. Looks like we've got Brandon. What's up, Brandon? If I remember correctly, you got something in Gemini. Was it your ascendant? I don't remember. God bless the Gemini placements. It's your guys' season. It's your season right now. You guys are in your full power. Very interesting. A card came up. It was flipped over. 4 of Pentacles. What's up, Brandon? I'll give you a general reading. Let's see what's going on. Wow. Tower reversed. Restructuring much? Recovering much? Overcoming some kind of sudden unexpected challenge, setback. What happened, my dude? I remember you have something in Taurus too. I think it's your moon. How was that eclipse on your moon? Did you suddenly have to kind of pivot and figure out a new place to stay? Or are you realizing there's like a huge shift happening with your finances or where you're actually going to be living? Let me know. The Tower reverse though, I mean, the good news is that it does talk about sudden change coming in, the need to upheaval something, overcoming disaster, you know, averting that, like being able to be in a situation where you can restructure. So it's making lemonade when this card comes up. But I get the feeling looking at this that it's like suddenly something turned very quickly and you're like, oh my God, now what do I do? How do I respond to this? We need to pivot. We need to kind of change the plan. We need to restructure something. The Tower can also be talking about Mars. So I would say pay attention. It's all coming back to me now. I know you have Aquarius stuff. You have a Taurus moon. I think you have an Aries rising. So it's talking about the Mars transit that's coming and the fact that Mars conjuncted Neptune. So something fell apart in your life is what I'm guessing. Mars Jupiter is going to conjunct here later this month. It's going to sit on your ascendant and that's going to make you realize why something fell apart so something else better could come together. Perhaps maybe you're feeling frustrated, kind of shocked. There's a sense of like needing to pick something up and put the pieces back together. And it can be also just this breakdown that's been happening of something that came out of the blue or something that you've been kind of working on for a long time. Let me know, how does that resonate? Like what's going on here? You know, if I remember correctly, you're an Aries rising. So I keep thinking about Mars coming in conjunct to Neptune. You know, what was the setback? What was the unexpected something that kind of fell apart? What went on there? Let me know, Brandon. I see that we have now Juliana. So let's see here. Let me scroll back up and see what your question was. So if you guys are just tuning in, we're going to call last call probably pretty soon. You want to get a reading, make your donations, please. You can scan the QR code, $20 for 1 card, $40 for 3. All right, so Juliana. Leo Sun, Virgo Rising, Cap Moon, work and career path. So your Virgo Rising, Cap Moon is in your whole sign 5th. And Leo is in your whole sign 12th. And you've got Mercury Retrograde in your 10th right now if you're a Virgo rising. I wonder if you're like juggling and if you're like kind of going back and forth between the possibility of 2 positions, like a side hustle with that Cap Moon in the whole sign 5th and trying to figure out like, do I do my own thing? Do I work for other people? And how can I do something that feels more creative and more authentic? But I would imagine just with your chart ruler retrograde in your 10th, it's just everything's buzzing. Something's changing. You're either changing positions, changing schedules, going back and forth. Do I go back to something? What do I do? You know, the good news is that you're pulling the Queen of Wands. And this is a card that deals very specifically with channeling creative energy and like taking a stand, being like, I'm making magic happen. That's what wands do. They are able to kind of orchestrate and bring things together. So this is the element of fire. So really what it's saying is like, pay attention to your sun. Pay attention to the fact also that Jupiter is now going into Aries, right? It's in Aries. So in your 8th house is promising transformation. Guys, Jupiter in Aries is sextiling Mercury. So things are moving very quickly. With this Mercury retrograde, Mercury's retrograding to sextile Jupiter, saying good news is on the way if you're willing to initiate and start something. So the thing is that for you, I think it's about finding that passion, that drive. It's about finding something that you're really kind of like, that spark that really kind of inspires you to be like, I want to do this, right? It's great if you have a Leo sun. It's very emotional though. So you get emotional about the idea of change. There can be some fear revolving around resources. Am I going to have enough? Jupiter being in your 8th house, sextiling Mercury is like, you know, do I have to take a pay cut to do something that I love? Do I have to, you know, figure out my own insurance if I'm working for myself? You know, do I possibly have to be in a situation where I have to invest in something or take out a loan or get resources right in order to kind of feel like I can launch this? The Queen of Wands is very rarely put in a position that she feels like that she cannot achieve whatever is kind of, you know, being served to her. She's got a black cat, which deals with intuition. She's also got all of this warmth and this gold, and it's like about working with solar powers, right? It's hard for Leo, especially 12th house Leo right now, because you got the Saturn in opposition and the Uranus square. So there is a need for you to start adjusting your schedule and adjusting your daily routine and creating time for like manifestational things, right? Good job. It's going to take a little bit of time. I would say really take your time during this Mercury retrograde, because to me, it kind of seems like you can be a little bit stunned, excited, but stunned, because now you're re-identifying out in the world. The second you have a Virgo rising who doesn't have a job, they're like, wait a second, what am I doing? You know, what's happening here? So you're still kind of getting your footing. I would say, be excited about the fact that change is happening, right? Because if you're going into this right now, looking at this going like, okay, I'm being given the opportunity to kind of hit the ground running, the momentum is going to pick up the more that you're excited and the more that you're actually doing things ritually to kind of add fuel to the fire. So whether that's like working out, working up a sweat, you know, eating warm herbs, hot teas, spending time working out in the sun, you know, really highlighting things that bring you joy and happiness and embracing change, it's going to help you. But the Queen of Wands is somebody who's very creative. She's a go-getter. She really has the ability to just be like, you know what? Boom, I'm going to make this happen. You're going to see, especially as Mars starts to go into your 10th house later this year, there will be a Mars retrograde. It's almost like part 2 of the change and transformation. Maybe there's a sense of you expanding. Maybe you're going to be doing some independent work, like maybe you'll do some contractual work, or you're freelancing a little bit in the fall. Mars will retrograde in your 10th, right? And so that's going to tap into your 8th house. You're going to realize, I can do this, but I have to charge more. And there's going to be a need for you to adjust your prices or really look at your overhead. Or maybe you're given another offer for a different job and you're like, that's a really lucrative offer, but is it going to conflict with what I've been building for myself, right? So just anticipate, there's a part 2. Right now, we're just manifesting. That's all you got to worry about right now. It's just being like, I'm moving, I'm going. But there's another wave of something that's going to change in the fall. So just be mindful of that. I just know that with your chart, knowing that Mars, which is other people's money, is going to retrograde, you're going to have to probably bring on a couple other clients or a couple other people. So that way you can kind of keep that momentum going with being independent. But guys, Pluto's going into Aquarius next year in the new year. For a Virgo, that is your 3rd house lord going into your 6th. You need to be able to travel and work remotely. You need to be working by phone. You need to be working in different areas. You're going to be on a laptop. You're going to be busy. So everything that you've been encountering, all the scheduling issues, all of the health issues, all of the setbacks and the delays have all been happening to create so much frustration for you that you have no other option but to be like, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to do it myself. And you're doing it. So give yourself the credit for some of the things that you are doing. You want to come and see me for a reading, click on my website. Come see me at beyondtheveiltarot.com. I have full hours and half hours if you want more of a personal reading. Would love to talk to you. What's up, Jadelle? Rachel, I am so excited. What pajama guy check-in, please? He showed up today with the wheelbarrow and got my imagination going and acted like we're back together, like business as usual. So we're all good now, or just the moment? What's his deal? I'll plan for the conversation you suggested on the 28th. All right, Rachel, let's see what's up. Yeah, I keep refreshing this, guys. Don't worry. So I'm going to take Rachel, and after Rachel, I have Kayla, Lynn, Jadelle, and Michelle in that order. And we called last call, so if you guys are going to get in now. Otherwise, that's it. That will be it. Anything as of 8:25 on will be it. All right. So I want to see what's up with Pajama Guy. I saw your comment on one of my videos, and you were like, he ghosted. It was just the Mars Neptune, you know, that's just what this is. But let's see what's going on. Where is he? Oh my goodness. Well, he's going to be back. Four of Wands again. Reconciliation, union, coming together, celebration, spending time outside. Are you going to be doing some kind of work outside? Are you building a garden? You said you showed up with a wheelbarrow, but do you have a project or something going on outside? Are you gardening? Are you putting something together? Are you renovating something? What's going on? Yes, Angeli, I see you. Don't worry. You're right after Rachel. What's happening? What are you doing outside? What are you working on? Like, he's going to come back, right? This is basically saying it's like a temporary space. So there is a sense of him like returning. He's going to come back. You're going to spend time together. Once again, this is a positive card because it's about gatherings, belonging together, unity. I'm wondering, like, is this going to be something where there's like a community event? Is there an outdoor party? Is there something like that happening? Like, is he coming back in some sense? Is there anything like that happening? Because I feel like, you know, he fixed your irrigation. He's going to come back beyond that. You're going to end up seeing him. Look for increments of 4, so within 4 days or whatever. I'm wondering if there's like a party that's coming in. I know that sounds weird, but 4 of Wands is like an outdoor event, a party, a gathering. Somebody's having a barbecue. Somebody's having a birthday. Hey, come by, be there. Like, he's going to be around. And the 4 of Wands is also a card that's very much associated with Venus and Aries. Okay, Venus is in Aries right now. Venus is coming into a square with Pluto. So, you know, for a lot of these Virgos, with Venus going through your 8th house, you're very passionate, but there's this sense of like, you know, am I going to see you? You know, am I going to see you soon? Am I going to get laid soon? There's a little bit of like impatience, but there's this build up. There it is. It's a concert. There's a build up to what's going on with this event. That's going to be like this reunion. It's going to be like sparks, right? So there's something building towards this. It's going to go really well. You're going to see him. I mean, you'll see him beyond that, but this event seems to be something that's really highlighting, kind of bringing you guys together in a very significant way. Sorry, I got to do my LaCroix ad. This weekend, within 4 days, I don't even know what today is, Saturday. So, okay, technically, yeah, you'll know within 4 days, but you're going to see him though. Like, you're going to see him prior to this, but something about this event makes me wonder if it's going to be like, do you guys go and are you taking pictures together? Are you holding hands? Like, is there some sense of something turning right around the time of this event? In terms of seeing him soon, 9 of Pentacles is saying like, maintain the standoffishness. I'm not saying like ignore him, but don't be going out of your way, right? Especially if he has this tendency of kind of coming and going and coming and going. No. And something else I'm going to tell you is like Venus going into Taurus pretty soon for Earth risings is going to be very nice. So once we get out of this Pluto square, it's like everybody's going to feel all this tension that's been going on start to kind of release. And that's going to be right around the end of the month, But like something about this makes me feel like this is the turning point. Maybe you guys go, you have a good time, you're connecting, and then you like really have a sit down conversation. It's like, what are we doing here, right? That's when things are going to shift. Hopefully that's helpful for you. Angeli. How's it going? I'll be joining a group of traders very soon after you take the exam. How successful will I be financially by joining? Would it be good for me? Oh, so it's your Venus return, Rachel. There you go. There it is. That's what that is. Wonderful. Look at that return. All right. So how's it going to look for Angeli joining these traders? Is she going to be successful financially by joining them? Is it a good move? Oh my God, Rachel, you guys saw that, right? I literally just shuffled the deck. I got Four of Wands again. Guys, first of all, Four of Wands is a good omen, Angeli, but I feel like that was coming up again, just as a confirmation for Rachel. Yes, have the conversation in person. For Angeli, that's a good omen though. That's about meeting with these people, but I really feel like that was for Angeli. So let's see. Knight of Swords. Angeli, meeting with them, cool, but is there like a group, like a digital group? Like, are you guys a part of like a text chain? Is there digital meetings that you guys are having? Is there a Facebook? Is there a Discord? Are they giving lectures and talks? Are they sending emails and talking about where you're investing? Is there anything like that happening? Obviously, if it's an investing group, they're going to talk, but this to me seems like something that it's like regularly. It might have a set meeting, but you guys are like on a regular time, like text group or something that's like consistent. There's always information coming in. You might have people that are on different time zones or they're literally in different places. So that's kind of cool if you're trading, especially if you've got people that might be overseas and they have insight before something happens. Obviously, I know that you're on East Coast, or actually, no, you're Central, right? You're in Chicago. But maybe you've got people on East Coast that are like, okay, you know, when the market opens, they've got all this information and they're pulling it. So as soon as you wake up, you've got stuff right before you kind of go into trading. There's really significant information being exchanged. There's teaching, information is coming fast. I feel like this is going to lead to you meeting in people in other places who are going to be like, hey, I'm in your town, let's get together, right? So you're connecting and talking to people. It's going to be more than just what you're learning. You're going to get invited to events, trading events, strategy events, lectures, workshops. Like there's something else that's kind of coming up. And like your mind is going to spin because that Knight of Wands is like all of the information and it's coming in very quickly and I'm making all these connections and it's like it's going to blow your mind how much you're going to learn. So I really get the impression that you doing this is wonderful because you're going to learn so much lingo, you're going to retain so much information, you're going to understand things better. It's just like super busy, and I'm more interested in just invitations and things that might be coming because, you know, it's Knight of Swords. It's not just messages. It's, you know, hey, I'm in your city. Hey, come here. We're doing this. We're having this meeting. We're having this meetup. You know, there's this financial like thing that's going down. Like, come. So it's cool because I feel like you're going to kind of mobile because of this. And at the very least, you're going to be able to exchange with people who are going to bring a lot of information to the table. You might make some friends out of it, right? So there's some sense of also like this can be a card that's about perfectionists. So people who are really, really good at what they do, they're very specific in how they communicate and how they choose their words. So you're going to learn a lot listening to people because you're going to obtain a lot of that and it's going to make sense and you're going to be able to be like, okay, now I get this. So when you're communicating, people are going to be like, wow, she really knows her stuff, you know? Yeah, really awesome. This is really good for you. I think that it's really going to speed up the process and it's also going to teach you about really understanding and applying some of this stuff with trading. So as you're making decisions, you can act very quickly and you can jump on things very quickly and make decisions intuitively because you know what you're talking about, right? Well, you should be studying. But friends are going to come from this. So it does look like it's a good connection for you. Very exciting. Definitely stay on that and keep doing it. And I'm really interested to see where you end up going with that. I've got Kayla, Lynn, Jetel, and Michelle. So the readings are closed for the evening, guys. So those of you guys who have participated, I'm going to do the rest of the readings. Otherwise, if you're just joining us, don't worry, we'll be back on Saturday. Every Saturday we're here 7 o'clock p.m. Pacific time, 10 p.m. Eastern. Next week's going to be astrology. So if you guys like these reading styles, do me a favor, give me a thumbs up. You can leave me a comment. You can always share the stream. It helps other people see it. By giving me a thumbs up, it's going to help the interaction with the channel. So it'd be really appreciated if you guys do it. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. So let's see. Kayla, what's up, Kayla? Thanks, Angeli. Kayla, what can I answer for you? Let me know what's going on. And also, we've got Lynn. So I'll take Lynn until Kayla gives me her question. Lynn says, what What did Green Eyes from the coffee shop think of me? Oh, that's cute. All right, so let's see. What did Green Eyes think? Thanks, Chris. Oh, hello. My question is, what was the exchange? What happened here? Ace of Coins is that giving of something, right? It's solid. Was there a handshake? Did you pass somebody your number? Did you buy somebody a muffin? It's silly. But there's a sense of being like, oh, there's something there. Like there's something tangible here. Did you give him or them, I guess I should say them something? Like did you exchange some kind of information or something? Because the Ace of Coins is like, I'm taking this with me, right? Or like, I'm not gonna forget this. Or I'm gonna hold on to this phone number that somebody wrote on a napkin. Or I'm going to come back to this place because there might be some assumption that you're going to be there, especially because this deals with timing. So if there was an exchange or anything like that, maybe you left somebody a tip. I don't know. This can be about money and basically leaving somebody something and like making a really cute comment, knowing that you're going to come back. But the Ace of Coins is like, okay, there's something worth kind of holding on to here. There's something substantial here. It can also be just a real physical attraction. A girlfriend and me met up. I thought we actually cut in front of him. Did he cop a feel? I mean, Ace of Coins, you know, so when you bump into somebody. I get the impression that, like I said, whatever happened, there's a real strong physical attraction and a pull. I quickly turned around and apologized. So there was, oh, okay, so you didn't bump into him, you cut him. Okay. But was there any exchange of anything? I guess that's what I'm really interested in, because this is a card where it's like, if you exchanged information, right? If you gave that person something. He was texting someone, looked like he wanted to talk to us. I'm also wondering if this is a place that you go to regularly, if this person returns within the next month or so, because I really get the impression that there's kind of something going on here. No feelings. Ace of Coins is like, you know, there's something there though. Like there's definitely something worth like holding on to, or something that's not easily forgotten. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but you know, if this was Ace of Coins reversed, it'd be like a lost opportunity. It was saying that this wasn't a lost opportunity. It was enough for a connection and possibly enough for there to be some kind of a material offer. So if this is a place that is something that you could regular, you know, go back. Especially within the next month. Even if you just get your coffee there once a week or whatever, go back there. Because something about this makes me feel like it may actually lead to there being an actual exchange. And if you run into him again, somebody will be like, hey, I saw you here last time. Can I get your information type of stuff? But it's about also new manifestations and like manifesting there being some kind of connection. Yeah, definitely go back. But one thing I would also say is that you can, sometimes this is about working with the element of earth to like manifest that. I think of like a high vibrational manifestational stone as like moldavite, right? Or like something that you can work with that's really intense, that's about physical manifestation. Like set an intention working with a crystal to be like, look, if it's in alignment, I'm going to run into that person again, right? Like there is a likelihood that there is going to be some kind of a reconnection physically bumping into each other, seeing each other, something like that. Especially between now and the end of the year, because this is like the annual year card. Look for the earth months. So Taurus season, it can be Virgo season, it can be Capricorn season. It can be happening right around the end of the year, but I have a feeling that there's going to be a reconnection. That's cute. I like that. All right, so let's see. We've also got, is Kayla here? Kayla? I feel like sometimes I miss her. I apologize because it doesn't always happen until the end. I feel like this happened last time. Kayla, let me know if you're here. I can definitely do the reading. You're a Capricorn Sun, Cancer Moon, Cap Rising. So I would say for people coming back out of the blue, it'd be like retrogrades connecting to your 7th, maybe your 5th. Kayla, let us know if you're here. Want to make sure I get your reading. We've got Lynn, Jadelle, and Michelle that are here. Lynn says, okay, so I got Lynn. Sorry, I take that back. That was Green Eyes. Kayla here? Kayla? I had a swollen, this is Jadelle. I had a swollen lymph node in my armpits yesterday. In my armpits since early 2021, excuse me. Currently 2 at the same time. I'm not sure if I should really pay attention to this or understand it's just been stress for the last 2 years. Should I accept this as my Saturn opposite Saturn transit, Virgo rising? Okay, let's take a look. Virgo rising, Virgo moon, Pisces sun in your 7th. All right. Let's take a look. So this is going to be for Jadelle. You know, with all that mutable stuff that you've got going on, the lymphatic system is got a really strong connection to Pisces. So the fact that you're Virgo sun, Virgo moon, Pisces sun, it could be some of that Neptune stuff in opposition to your moon. Being that the moon is the ruler of your 11th, it can be circulation. So there's that. Swelling though, that's like a very Neptune Pisces thing, whether it's like the feet, the ankles, the calves. Sometimes I see it in the face. Sometimes I also see it happening in like the glands and stuff. So that's not unusual, but I have a feeling that there might be something else more going on here. We'd have to like really look at the chart. But let's see, is it stress or is it something more? Obviously, take it seriously. I'm not a medical practitioner. So if there is something serious going on, you need to be aware. These are not bad cards. It's interesting because, you know, Pisces placements can be very, very sensitive and experience swelling, especially if there is lots of humidity where you're living, or if there is like either some obviously stress, but I've also seen it when they are not getting the proper minerals, right? If they're not getting like the proper like minerals, like mineral salts, vitamins, electrolytes, like that can actually bring up all kinds of issues with swelling with Pisces, and issues pertaining to salt and sodium levels. So that's something else that I would look at. 10 of Cups, you know, I feel like it's emotional. The 10 of Cups is a positive card, so it's saying like feeling like there's been a lot on your plate emotionally. Oh, so you're in Florida. Okay, serious. I'm dead serious. Humidity in Pisces placements. I've seen so many people who have swelling. It's not even funny. Or they're like, oh my God, I'm bloating or I have weight gain. Like it can be the humidity. But the 10 of Cups is telling me it's a positive card, but 10 of Cups is excess water. Okay, water weight, humidity, salt, swelling, any of that stuff. I think the 10 of Cups is a positive card though, because it's saying like there can be a sense of smoothing stuff over if you're dealing with your emotions. Followed by the Knight of Cups reverse. So this is why I also think this is about unbalanced emotions. It can be also changes that are going on with your hormones. Knight of Cups reverse is just kind of feeling like you're all over the place. It's like you're up, you're down, you're this, you're that, right? And I've seen clients who have had a lot of issues with like fatigue, and that actually also affect their like swelling of the glands as well. I don't know if you've had somebody like look at this though. You know, I wonder if this is like a good idea to go and see like a natural doctor, like a woman doctor, especially because you have the Queen of Pentacles coming up. The Queen of Pentacles is a good omen for health though, like health, regaining, stabilizing, feeling solid. Possibly this is like some herbal treatments that you might do. You know, the Queen of Coins is like, do you go and see an acupuncturist? Do you go and see an herbalist? Do you go and see a naturopath? Somebody who can talk to you about being able to work with changes in your diet or actual holistic supplements to be able to balance this out. I also wonder if it would be a good idea to do physical body work, right? Like going in and trying to see if you can do some like lymphatic drainage, where they go in and they massage you and they drain everything out of your system. Being that you're a Virgo rising, health is so significant. Obviously Saturn, you know, Saturn opposition going through your 3rd can deal with health problems, but it's more stress and it's going to be more related to your diet. And you might respond very well to like vibrational changes, so like sound therapy, anything like that to clear some of that stuff out. But I would really recommend trying to do some body work, right? And I'm not saying like, oh, go and get Reiki, like go and get a lymphatic massage, go and see an acupuncturist, something that is going to be like basically supporting like the physical body, right? Something like that. But there's a lot of emotional ties to this. I feel like I would really be paying attention to what you're drinking or what you're eating. you know, you would be really surprised. Like people who have Pisces placements have to be very careful, because if they don't know how to read labels, and if you're eating a bunch of frozen food, frozen vegetables, processed food, high sodium stuff, you guys bloat up like a puffer fish, right, Pisces? And it can be in various parts of your body. It's not just your face or, you know, your glands. It can be your feet, all kinds of stuff. Detoxes through your feet can be helpful too. So if you're into like ionic foot baths or anything like that, where you're actually pulling stuff through your feet, that can be really helpful for you as well, because you got your sun in Pisces, right? Your sun's the ruler of your 12th house. You got your Saturn opposition. It can be spiritual things that you absorb that come out of nowhere. Things that you absorb from other people, like partners, spouses, right? Other people that you're assisting and that you're aiding. And if you got Saturn in your 6th right now, it's a time where you're not supposed to be giving assistance. You need to be receiving assistance, right? So look into any one of these therapies. It can be helpful. I do feel like it can be remedied. And the Queen of Pentacles is a really, really good omen for being able to get on top of your health, but it's going to require some emotional balancing. Angeli says, yikes, some of the same stuff. Those Pisces placements, you guys just bloat up. Electrolytes and managing salt and sodium. It's the #1 thing. If you can't get away from the humidity, there's not a lot you can do about that if you're in Florida, but you can definitely counterbalance that with managing the salt and sodium. Sending you lots of good healing vibes. Thank you for your donation. Here's Michelle. Michelle is a Libra rising, Scorpio sun, just like me. And you are a Gemini moon. You have questions about career and lover. Holistic doctor suggested liver. Judith suggested diet is big in my house. Thank you. It all makes sense. Good. Sending you so much healing energy. Okay, so Michelle, my question is, will I get and hold to keep my health physics technician job that I applied for? I have to pass the DOE exam in 2 weeks, getting the position. I want to know if I can carry that job for very long and hold the position. Let's take a look. The Mercury retrograde in your natal 9th is about documents, certification, passing things, so that way you can start working. So in that sense, the fact that it's making positive aspects to Saturn in your ascendant, it's pretty good. So we've got the 8 of Cups reversed, the Page of Swords, and the Hierophant reversed. I have a question for you. Is this what you want to do long term? Like, is this the end all be all, or is this something that you're doing as kind of an in-between? I know that's a weird question, but I got to ask looking at some of these cards. You have to pass the exam in 2 weeks, getting the position I want to know if I can carry that job for very long. You know, there is an emphasis, and this is in your astrology right now too, okay? Similar to other air rising. So if you're a Gemini rising, Libra rising, Aquarius rising, all the Mercury retrogrades are really positive for you this year. Are you in a situation where this is really what you want to do? Or are you looking at this like, okay, I got to get this certification, I got to do this, and I'm doing this just for a period of time? 8 of Cups is talking about you walking away from something. So I'm wondering, like, are you walking away from a current position to do this? Is everything kind of riding on the line right now, where you have to take this test and you're crunching because you want to walk away from an old job, an old career? And is it like everything kind of falling into this moment for you to be able to make the jump? Because it's talking about where you want to be long-term, what you really enjoy long-term, right? Not just making swift moves and decisions very quickly because of what is going to be able to kind of help you make money in the midterm. It's a weird time being a Libra rising with a Scorpio sun. You know, you understand that the South Node's moving through your 2nd house right now, okay? So as the South Node goes through the 2nd house, Scorpio suns have to be willing to give up and release and let go of one way of making money. Okay, so here we go. Yeah, you want to retire. Yeah. There is a sense right now of being willing to take a chance and be willing to take a step back, either retiring if you feel like you can't do that right now. It's understandable because your chart does talk about, well, what am I going to receive, or what benefits, or, you know, what about long-term stuff? But I have a feeling that you need to be willing to take chances. That South Node eclipse, I'm a Scorpio 2nd house sun too. Right now there is work, but there's this sense of looking at some things going like, is it worth my time? What's going on with my energy? Could I be doing something different? And the Eight of Cups is saying, like, if you keep facing resistance, or if there is this sense of knowing that it's time to walk away, you're going to keep getting that message over and over and over. Page of Swords is also saying, don't recklessly jump into something and be like, I'm just going to do this for now because I need XYZ. Because you may find that when these eclipses are hitting again later this year, you're being pushed to make a bigger decision about your resources. You just had an eclipse square Saturn to your second. So you know that there's something that you got to let go for your sanity, or so that way you can make space for something else. The reason why I'm also saying this is because of the Hierophant. This is a card that deals with Taurus, right? Uranus is in your 8th house, so it's trying to get you to think differently about money and resources and how you make money, and something may suddenly come in as long as you're willing to hold space and wait for it. And the Hierophant reversed is like talking about you being in a position where you are really in alignment with what you're meant to do, or you are maybe resisting possibly making a change in your career. Maybe you're resisting actually retiring, like you say you want to, but you're resisting it. The Hierophant reverse is also talking about you being in a situation where there is a sense of you needing to kind of restructure the long-term plans. Like, you know, if like I just saw what you said, I haven't read it yet, but just getting your foot in the door. The Hierophant's saying, like, really make sure that that's what you want to be doing long-term. So I took a custodial to get your foot in the door, to go to school. I gave up the building maintenance mechanic to go for what I really wanted, which was HP Tech. eBay was on my side hustle. Okay. Yeah, I mean, you know, your side hustle can be put on hold for right now. If you're having to study, if there's something going on for a new position, that's going to take main precedent. But just really make sure you have a long-term plan, because this card is saying the goal is to actually get out of something, as is this, right? And so if your goal is to retire, it's like, what money are you making in the meantime that you're stashing or you're reinvesting into something? If you are going to return to a side hustle, likely it'll be something that you would do in the fall, so you got to wait. You'll go back to that then. Wait until the new moon happens in Scorpio. That'll be an eclipse. And you're starting a new cycle for making more money, okay? So maybe you have to take a sidestep. A lot of second house Scorpio Sun to Libra are looking at things going, for me to be able to make money, more money in the long term, I'm having to kind of scale back and study, or, you know, cut lines of income right now so I can focus more on where I'm going. So it's only going to feel tight until about October, which is interesting. The other eclipse is in October. Yeah, that's when I feel like it would be a good time to kind of bring back the side hustle, and maybe by then you've stashed some money and you've segued into another position. But for you personally, it's reminding you, don't just chase a paycheck. Don't just chase something because you want to make money. Focus more on doing something that's really intriguing, that you're really passionate about, that's going to allow you to really make the most of these Uranus transits in your 8th. Because if you're really passionate about something and you go towards that direction, you can make money suddenly out of the blue. But this is also about side hustles. I think the side hustle stuff's definitely going to come back for you in the fall. But walking away from one position to make time for another, yep, that's all there. That's literally what you're doing right now. And the Page of Swords is just saying, focus on the mental strength, right? Sit down and focus on the studying, making sure that you're getting everything ready, the documents ready, everything, so you can apply if you do need to get like a certification or something, so you can actually make that jump. But take your time, because this seems a little frazzled. It's like, I gotta move, I gotta make a move now, right? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you know, part of this for Libra rising is Saturn rules your 5th. So you've got Saturn in your 5th house of creative projects squaring your sun, where you're like, there are ways that I can make money creatively, but I got to do what I got to do right now to focus on my home and my cost of living. So what I would say to you is that if you can hold that tight for about 6 months, it's going to come full circle. And Jupiter, you know, going into your whole sign 7th and then 8th next year, it's actually a really wonderful time possibly to be looking at trying to get a home next summer with your transits. Yeah. But make sure you're chasing something that's really a fit for you, okay? Retirement, yeah, maybe, you know, within a couple years, maybe within 5 years or so. That's definitely something that you can do. Good luck with your tests. Sending you lots of good vibes, Michelle. That looks positive for you to be able to make that shift. I am still wondering if Kayla is here. I have not seen her. But that's okay. I will send her a message. Otherwise, you guys, thank you for joining me for my Saturday night show. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for all your support and also giving me your thumbs up and your comments. Tomorrow, I'm going to be back. I'm going to have another video that I'm doing for the astro weather for the week ahead. We've got a Gemini New Moon that's coming up pretty soon. Totally slipped my mind. I was like, oh my gosh, I got to get on this. We're still in the middle of a Mercury retrograde. If you guys haven't seen it, I did a Mercury Cazimi video. I do have a Mercury retrograde video and that Venus square Pluto. So that way you guys are up to date with everything that's going on this week. Next Saturday is going to be all live astrology readings. Consider joining my memberships if you would like to get on level 3. Also, I have got on my website readings that are now starting in July. So I'm usually booked out like 6 to 10 weeks at a time. So if you want to get a reading, I'm booking in July. Whatever's first is available is going to be on my website, full and half hours. Check out my website also. You guys can set up for my newsletter. I'm not going to spam you, I promise. It's just me getting emails for people if you guys want to take my astrology or my tarot courses. Now, I just finished an Astrology 101 course. We will be selling that later this summer. So if you missed it and you want to learn astrology with me, you can get that in a couple weeks' time. We're going to have it on my website so you can learn Astro 101. It is 7 separate lectures. It's going to have homework and all different types of things. It's going to teach you astrology the way that I do it. So if you have an interest in that, you can check it out. If you like the way that I read tarot, if you want to learn how to read tarot with me, go to my website, sign up for my newsletter. You're going to be the first to know when these courses are being released for a sign up. Whenever I do a new course, it's going to be live in a digital classroom on Zoom, and we're going to be able to interact, and you guys are going to be able to learn with me. And you get to keep the recordings, so you can go back and you can use them in the future if you want to continue your education and maybe move on to another level. So I'm going to do a couple levels of tarot and astrology, building up a library, that's what I'm doing, and focusing on teaching. So make sure you sign up for that. Check out my podcast. You guys can watch my podcast at the Midheaven Podcast with myself and Mike, the Peace Stealer. Every Monday we have a new episode that's coming out. And I will see you guys all tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Thank you for joining me. Take care.